Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out the headlines we have for you today. The BIS and the Unified Ledger. We're going to get into it. And also, how about the final judgments? When do they go in for the SEC versus Ripple? We got that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and digperspectives.com for exclusive content at the top of the screen. Right now, $2.72 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is up 2.8%. 69,400 plus for Bitcoin, 3,400 now for plus for Ethereum, 106.9 billion plus market cap for Tether. XRP's 59 cents. We're up 1.6 on the 24, off by 4.4 on the 7-day. Range of price between 59 and 60 cents. We're at the top of the range, even though we have a tight spread between the ranging of price, so we'll keep an eye on it. I do want to let you know right now, tickets are flying, ladies and gentlemen. 25 days until XRP Las Vegas, and with the onset and the announcement of Ripple launching a stablecoin on the XRP ledger and Ethereum this year, you're going to want to get a ticket to this conference so you can hear David Schwartz himself tell you all the update information that's going on and what he is excited about in the future when it comes to the ever-expanding XRP ledger and the Ripple business model. So this is super exciting, and what an opportunity this is. Think of this for a moment, and if I could, just very quickly, and I won't take long here, but look at all these people. Greg Kidd, formerly of Ripple, now running for 2nd District in Nevada. Jason Cousins, CEO of Glint. Congressman Wiley Nickel is going to be with us. U.S. House of Representatives. Perry Ann Boring from the Digital Chamber. The Honorable Christian Carlo, former CFTC chairman and the co-founder of the Digital Dollar Project in the United States. David Schwartz himself, the CEO of Uphold, the CEO of iTrust, the CEO of Miles Franklin Precious Metals. Will Petruski, the head of sales at Link2, Jeremy Hogan virtually, and we see Robin O'Connell and Nancy Beaton, and the list goes on with John Deaton and Joe Doso and so many more. Let me tell you, when is the next time you're going to see all of these people in a room together? You're not, because that's the way these things go, and that's when we put these events together. This is why I'm telling you, we do this for you. And you have 25 days left to get your room at MGM. Stay right on site. What a beautiful facility it is. Best restaurants. You could walk right to your room to the conference. It's unbelievable. What a beautiful, beautiful facility. Get your ticket. And by the way, Future of Digital Asset Benefit Dinner, I'm hearing there may be a band performing as well as private dinner with Brad Garlinghouse. I'm trying to confirm that. So make sure you get your ticket to have private dinner with Brad Garlinghouse and all the other special guests, including Congressman Wiley Nickel and the Honorable Christian Carlo and many others. And get your ticket. It's a tax-deductible charitable donation. You can't beat it. You're helping support the Digital Chamber, and you're having private dinner with all these amazing guests. I tell you, I can't wait for all of it. What a remarkable whirlwind it's going to be over those few days. Make sure you get your tickets. Link is below. Now let's talk about this, because we know Fruition Productions just had them on the channel and appreciate all they're doing. XRP Unleashed new docuseries is coming soon. And, you know, we've seen a lot of people out here take a stance saying, you know, enough of this ETHgate business, right? This doesn't help. Ripple's launching a stable coin that's going to be on Ethereum and XRP Ledger. So what is the point of talking about ETHgate? Well, I can tell you, if you have an IQ over 39, I'm about to tell you what the point is, especially if you're an American patriot and you have any children. I'm going to tell you what the point is. ETHgate isn't about maxis fighting over which network is better. ETHgate is about holding our U.S. government agencies accountable, because our tax dollars aren't supposed to be used to pick winners and losers in what is supposed to be an open, free market. I don't believe ETH tokens are securities in and of themselves, but I understand to be fact is that the public officials like Jay Clayton and William Hinman and others at the SEC overlooked an ICO fundraise which was structured as a security offering and held the rest of crypto space to entirely different standard, allowing a token assembly line of billions of dollars worth of projects to be launched off of that network, harming every other project in the crypto space. Side note, if you ever want to know what Clarity can do for a network, just look at the ETH chart on the day of the Hinman's free speech. Our tax dollars are supposed to be used to oversee the entire capital markets with the same set of rules for everyone, not just the one centrally backed by JP Morgan and the Communist China Party. The goal has always been #level playing field. Anyone suggesting otherwise has clearly missed the plot. Here's another trouble spot in this space. We have to wonder how it shakes out. What about Tether? Take a quick listen to this.
So there was a document leaked that at one point Bitfinex leaked that showed that Paulo was one of the directors for Delchain, which is it's a cryptocurrency focused offshoot of Deltec Bank, which is where Tether now banks. And so it seems that Paulo might be connected pretty deeply to Tether's bank.
Tell me about Stu Hogner, their general counsel.
So yeah, Stuart Hogner is the general counsel for Bitfinex and Tether. He has a history in cryptocurrency and also in online gambling. He was the director of compliance at XRP, which was an online poker company most known for being the parent company for Ultimate Bet. Ultimate Bet got in trouble because they were giving some of their players a god mode that allowed them to see the other players' cards, which would obviously be an advantage if you're trying to play poker. So that happened. Stu was the director of compliance for XRP, and then shortly thereafter he left.
This is all shocking because these are the people sort of facilitating the currency that is the backbone of crypto. It's like the leading liquidity provider. And what you're telling me is these are not savory individuals for the most part.
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
This is starting to look bad, huh? But don't worry, it gets way worse. Around 2017, okay, people began criticizing Tether sort of seriously for the first time. And it started with someone named Bitfinex on Twitter. Bitfinex has been by far the most vocal critic of Tether. And I interviewed him to ask him what made him first suspect something was wrong.
Starting in late March 2017, I noticed unusual trading on Bitfinex that seemed to match the trading that I saw on Mt. Gox when Mt. Gox lost banking. I was alert but had nothing concrete about their banking situation until April the 5th, 2017, when Bitfinex attempted to sue Wells Fargo. Their lawsuit indicated that they, Bitfinex and Tether, had no banking at all, and despite this, Tether continued to issue tens of millions of dollars of Tether despite Bitfinex and Tether being unable to receive transfers. I suspected fraud and started my Twitter account.
So, what do we make of all of it? We don't know yet, but we do know Tether has been sitting outside of the regulated framework that is normally required in this regard. Now, it is a new product. Well, not new now. It's more than a decade old, but you get the point. It is a new market with digital dollars, and they do sit outside of the United States. But I just want to remind people, the SEC scores major victory against Terra and Dao Quan. Dao Quan and his company Terraform Labs have been found liable for fraud as the result of a 2-week trial. This is the SEC scoring a major victory here. And for anybody that has that, well, they're not in the United States, they can't do anything about Tether, try telling Dao Quan that one. He had a stable coin too. Now Ripple's getting into the stable coin business. Now, I don't need to play this clip, but the point is, and shout out to Bank XRP, and if you don't know, Bank XRP is an OG in this space. You need to be following them if you're not. Ripple stablecoin, I think, is going to be amazing for its business and the network itself and the XRP ledger for sure. I don't have a problem with that at all. And I know some people are kind of confused about it, but I'm not. And I hope that soon you will find the clarity that you need as well. What I'll say is that Ripple stablecoin coming, knowing that we see a lot of congressional officials, and we're going to be talking to one at XRP Las Vegas directly about the opportunity of stablecoin legislation getting done within this year. You have to ask yourself, does Tether make the cut? Will there be a push to launch Tether on XRP Ledger? Or will there be an unwinding of USD Tether and it floods into USDC and now Ripple stablecoin? I don't know what happens, and I can't pretend to know what happens. What I do know, though, however, is that there's been enough information shared about Tether to understand that whatever it is, if it's going to remain, it's going to have to come under some sort of prudential regulation if it's going to stay alive at all. Now, let's take a quick look at this. Santiago Velez here says, Ripple makes money, and this is all based off of the stablecoin announcement here, and I think Santiago Velez has got it right. He says, Ripple makes money. Interest from bonds on the Ripple launching their own stablecoin. Interest from bonds, commercial paper, and money market funds backing each stablecoin. Fees, XUSD, if it's called XUSD or whatever they end up calling it. Maybe they just call it XRP and peg it to a different denomination like David Andelfato said. We'll see. XUSD on the XRP ledger and Ethereum networks allow for liquidity pools against assets like XRP, wherein they are the market maker. Even better, avoiding impermanent loss with the new AMM. Custody, Medico, which is owned by Ripple now, as a subsidiary, allows banks to issue stablecoins safely, custody digital assets, put capital to use on ledgers without having to dip into capital reserves required by Basel III. Clever. Yes, it is. Then you have this. This is an old throwback clip from Chris Larson. Listen to what he says and the way it applies with the direction and everything that's happening today.
You know, Ripple doesn't require you to ever use XRP, even in a trade. I mean, the cool thing here is that anybody in the world now using Ripple can put a bid ask on anything of value from any issuer. So, for example, somebody can decide, you know, I'm going to make a market between United Airline miles, if once United Airline miles are on Ripple, I hope they will be someday, to Brazilian real. You could go directly. You don't actually have to go through XRP. But what we believe will happen is that most market makers, in filling out the world of exchanging value from anything of value, again, currencies, merchant reward points, airline miles, gold, silver, anything that you define as value, most people will actually, most market makers will use XRP. Because as a currency without a counterparty, it is a completely unique thing in the protocol, just like Bitcoin is completely unique. So again, our view of why math-based currencies are so valuable isn't necessarily that they replace existing currencies, it's just that they have a very unique feature in that they have no counterparty. So the whole world, the world only has to think about one thing when it comes to Bitcoin or Ripple, is the price in any microsecond in time. You never have to think about the counterparty risks. It turns out that that is a completely unique thing that's never existed before. So why is that important? Let's say we use the example of a farmer in Nepal wanting to buy farming equipment from a supplier in Kenya, let's say. If you didn't have the math-based currency, even in an internet for value, you'd probably have to go Nepalese rupee to Indian rupee, Indian rupee to British pounds to Kenyan shilling. That's a lot of hops.
Right, and you're going to lose a good amount of money on each hop.
You lose value on every hop, right? Because you're involving currencies with counterparties, things of value with counterparty. It'd be much better to go Nepalese rupee to XRP through a market maker, and then there's some other market maker that has made a market between Kenyan shilling and XRP. Now, Nepal and Kenya are one hop away. You're actually one hop away from airline miles, and everything is one hop away.
That's where we're going, and that has never existed before, and that is going to change the way the world moves money forever. It's nothing new that Ripple and XRP has been mentioned with the largest institutional players, and although it's not mentioned in this clip, This is the BIS confirming the unified ledger, which sounds a lot like the XRP ledger, and we don't need to beat you to death with it, but what I want to remind you of is I did this search here because this is all really breaking down the BIS and what they're doing. We know that they have major projects underway. Now, Project Agora, which is working with 7 central banks around the world on cross-border payments, not just payments, right? This is involving cross-border payments between 7 major banks in the world, major central banks in the world, like the Federal Reserve in New York. So we'll keep an eye on it, and Bank of France, right? So we'll see what happens there. But I want to show this because I put this to, is the unified ledger by the BIS connected or built around Ripple technology or the XRP ledger? Because every project report we look at usually, you know, is missing that key information that we want to see so badly. And that's fine. You know, we're retail investors. This is our job to try to find out as much as we can. It's like a game. Grok responds here and says, based on the information provided, it appears that Bank of International Settlements, BIS, is developing its own unified ledger for central bank digital currencies and cross-border payments, which is distinct from Ripple's technology and XRP ledger. It says BIS Unified Ledger is described as being controlled by central banks and is part of their efforts to enhance global payment systems through initiatives like Project mBridge. Really? Now, while Ripple is mentioned as an official member of the BIS task force on cross-border payments and interoperability and has been involved in discussions and collaborations related to CBDCs and international payments, there's no direct evidence to suggest that the BIS Unified Ledger is built on Ripple's technology or the XRP ledger. Instead, the BIS is working on a new blockchain called the mBridge ledger for its projects, focusing on different approaches to CBDCs. In the summary, the BIS's unified ledger seems to be a separate endeavor from Ripple's technology in the XRP ledger. But is it? Because this is interesting here. Because James Wallace told us a long time ago. Take a listen.
Coin, yeah. Now, where XRP could come into play potentially is when you're looking at cross-border CBDCs. So when you have a digital dollar and you have a digital, real, or digital pound, you obviously need to have some way to interact cross-border. Yeah. So I think the BIS call this a multi-CBDC model.
There it is. The BIS called this the multi-CBDC model, which is the mBridge model, which is also being highlighted here, that the BIS is working on a new blockchain called the mBridge ledger for its projects. Well, James Wallace just told you that at least one of those models in mBridge is, in fact, the XRP ledger. Come on in. We shall see. In June, stablecoins will become regulated. mBridge goes live in 2024 and FedNow. And we know that Ripple and XRP Ledger are part of all of those things. But will they be used at scale? That remains to be seen. Is launching full scale in July of 2024. Stablecoins will be moving real value. And I would think for that to happen, that means we're going to have some kind of legislation for stablecoins before July 2024 gets here. Right? We'll see. Then there's this. Let's take a turn towards the case here. The SEC versus Ripple. Will the court side with the SEC? Now, whether your court grants the SEC's remedies demands of $1.95 billion against Ripple remains to be seen. But let's take a look at that number. And we know the number is ridiculous. They do not deserve a $1.95 billion fine at the SEC. And in fact, Ripple could make the argument they deserve to get the reward of a $1.95 billion fine because of the SEC's erroneous charges. So we'll see how it goes, however, and I'm sure that's not going to happen either. But nevertheless, if the SEC is actually demanding in the remedies phase $1.95 billion, as crazy as that number is, if Ripple were to pay it, it would be over, right? But Ripple's smart enough to know that they don't have to pay it, and they're not going to pay it, at least not that amount. But the SEC will file its last brief in the remedy stage by May 6. After this, the court will then issue a final judgment at a later date. And we know that Judge Torres usually takes around 2 months or so in her past decisions. So it doesn't mean that that'll be that long. But if that's the case, then we could be looking at July, which is right around the time that we're supposed to see all this stablecoin business crack off around the world. Things are heating up, ladies and gentlemen. And so is this on the chart. Just to take a look here from EggRag Crypto, this is an XRP to BTC chart. Returning to mean 21 EMA here. Serves as a pivotal mean value for the price between XRP and BTC, acting as a point of convergence even amidst market volatility, whether during pumps and dumps or regular market movements. We often see price action gravitating back towards this key indicator. In the current scenario, the price of the 21 EMA stands at 0.000012 Bitcoin, with Bitcoin and USD at 70,000. And for XRP, this translates to approximately 84 cents, a significant resistance level in terms of XRP USD charts. Looking ahead, if XRP BTC continues its upward trajectory, the top end of the descending triangle sits at the number there, 0.000017, with XRP USD potentially reaching $1.20. This target holds substantial importance within the XRP USD chart. So he's giving you a correlation of important key price points based between the XRP BTC and the XRP USD charts here that he's seeing. So stay steady. 85 cents is incoming, and $1.20 is coming. Just try to accumulate as much as you can below $1, he says. And there's your chart you can see and where we're sitting here. Wow, if we touch this and then boom, look what we got last times these things get down in that little area there. I mean, it's all right there. So this is a really, really exciting time, ladies and gentlemen. What will it do? We will all find out soon enough, because this chart here can only go so much further. That's what I'm seeing. So it's not financial advice from me or anyone else. Right now, we're going into the Freedom Zone, and we're going to listen to some very, very important information inside the Freedom Zone about this upcoming eclipse tomorrow. And this one's a lot of fun, so I want you to take a listen to this. And all you have to do is go to digitalperspectives.com or click the link underneath the video. Join us in the Freedom Zone for almost next to nothing. You get 0 Google ads on my daily YouTube videos in here, as well as the extra Freedom Zone content to go along with it. Private access to a full private access to a Telegram group, and incredible community of super, super smart people. All you got to do is click the button and come on in. All right.